Good evening and welcome to this edition of The Frontline. The Frontliners are already here and of course excited to be yet back again this 8th of September 2016. My name is Charles Odonga and the Frontliner OO sitting right across me, the Oracle of Gulu, Norbert Mao, Gulu. And it is Gulu, yes. And then the senior citizen, Honorable Miriam Matembe.
That I have not bribed, I am not bribing, and I have no intentions whatsoever of bribing anybody to support or even to vote for this bill, which
First hold it right there. We are going to come to the issue. Honorable Akol, you came here on the show. You were in...
None of us at that time could believe that a member of parliament could die in such a very unfortunate circumstances, in such a dingy place. But it happened. Eventually, I think many members of parliament became embarrassed. I would just want to ask myself, Honorable Call, a new member of parliament, appears now to be so familiar.
Let me first introduce my panel. Right from the extreme right, we have Honorable Martin Ojara Mapenduzi, MP for Bardege-Laibi in the current parliament. Honorable, you're most welcome. Next to him, on his left, is the longest man. You know, when you are taller than me, I have to refer to you as the longest man because you are no longer just tall. So the longest man, Alan Kasuja, media center boss. He is government spokesperson. You're most welcome, Alan.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. I will be asking you how it feels to be on the front line on NBS and not on BBC, but that's for another time. We have next to Alan, another long man, Samuel Odonga Otto. He calls himself political philosopher. He said, you are, eh? Good. Political philosopher, former MP. Then we have the man who is a frontliner. When I became a renegade from here, I left him on this show. But Ofono Opondo. Ofono Opondo now he has become infamous for taking oath in parliament without any holy book. We will discuss that another day. Ofono Opondo is MP for the older persons, Eastern Uganda. You're most welcome, OO.
Thank you, Charles. I'm longest frontliner serving.
We will give that to you.
Longest gangster on the gang.
Wow.
Longest serving columnist on the New Vision. 1993.
Let me first introduce Salamusumba, then we shall sort out these issues of who is the longest. I know you are trying to compete with Alan, but that's for another moment.
Alan always made it. When he came to New Vision, I used to lend him my typewriter manual.
Absolutely.
We have Honorable Salam Musumba. She is Speaker of the People's Front for Freedom,
yes,
PFF.
Thank you. Good to be here.
It's good to have all of you. Let's go for the trigger.
NBS Frontline. The 12th Parliament has officially begun its 5-year legislative term with a mix of new faces, returning legislators, and renewed promises to tackle Uganda's pressing challenges. But as the House settles into business, the key question remains: will this Parliament chart a different course or continue the trends that defined its predecessor? Since its inauguration, Parliament has already witnessed notable changes, from the reported reduction of the Speaker's budget from 24 billion shillings to 3.2 billion shillings, a move that has raised procedural questions to the scaling down of police deployment around Parliament. The Institute is signaling a different approach.
Don't ask for payment for trips
which you have not undertaken.
Oversight is not about confrontation.
The executive has made this position clear. However, the parliament, which would be the voice of the people, should come up and give the exact voice of the people.
Ultimately, however, the true measure of the 12th Parliament will be its delivery on expectations of Ugandans. Attendance is now mandatory and lawmakers are expected to prioritize service over politics.
Our system for clocking in is working. We are now taking cognizance of your presence in the House.
Although the composition of Parliament has changed following the 2026 general election, with the NRM retaining a comfortable majority, legislative business is already underway, including the tabling of the Parliament Administration Bill.
We want the members of the opposition, together with the independent members of opposition who are here, as the law provides, to be consulted on that matter.
As an independent, I wouldn't want to be involved in any matter concerning the opposition or the NRM.
The credibility of the 12th Parliament will ultimately depend on its willingness to assert its constitutional mandate rather than merely endorsing executive proposals.
They must understand what's happening in this country.
As the 12th Parliament begins its work, the question remains, is this the start of a new era or simply more of the same? This is The Frontline. Frontline.
Welcome back from the trigger, gentlemen and lady. Let me start just right from that last question of the trigger, Honorable Salam. You were in Parliament, and what do you see ahead?
Thank you very much. Parliament is a fantastic space to occupy. It's an honorable space to occupy and use that mandate to serve your country. From my perspective, it's the best place to work because you can collectively turn around the country in one afternoon by policy. And so whoever occupies that space should understand that it's a privileged space, one of its kind, and one with immense authority, opportunity, and honor. The only one, the only one of its kind in the structure of government. And so, what do we expect? First of all, we expect that the members of Parliament will take their mandate seriously, patriotically, and that they will abide by the Constitution to make laws for the order, peace, and good governance of this country. And we will be watching them as they do their representation, their oversight, and as they appropriate. It is my desire and my hope that they'll pull themselves together and do themselves proud, because they're writing the 12th chapter of the National Assembly. From where I see it, I think they have not been prepared sufficiently to do that. They should have been prepared from the party levels. Each party should have marching orders for its team, and Parliament by now should have met as a business committee. The business committee
It met today.
to queue, you can imagine today.
It met today.
And they started long ago, and they had a false start. The false start was to approve a loan that they did not debate.
Didn't they?
They did not.
Debate?
They didn't even understand it.
No, we debated.
They debated.
However,
actually.
it was brought that night, so there was no.
You call that debate?
So, no. We
Yeah?
had the debate, but it was brought in the night before the debate, and we met in the morning, and I can confess, there wasn't sufficient time even for members to read the first 3 pages.
But they debated nonetheless.
They debated.
Anyway, English is such a difficult thing. So if that
It is
passes
not-
for
it is
debate,
not allure or
if
olosoga.
that passes for debate for you, I do not know, for instance, what the opposition position was.
Actually, the opposition put up a spirited fight even within that short time. And,
Well, my memory is of a man called Masaba from Bale that said my mind. And so I think there's a kind of unreadiness. And I had hoped that the speaker would use this time to have the plenary get started from a level of comfort. If I can take from the 6th Parliament, the Honorable Wapakabulo allowed each of us 10 minutes to make our maiden speeches.
1996.
96, to make our maiden.
2001.
And one, yeah. To make our maiden speeches, so that everybody would have their 5 minutes to make.
Of a honeymoon.
No, not a honeymoon, to make your maiden speech, and for the public to be able to size you up to understand your name and what you stand for. Because the topics, you had an open check in which to write yourself.
Yeah.
And so I say that as missing. There's a level of clumsiness that is so disturbing.
Okay.
That a man who hasn't even warmed his seat moves a private member's bill without even conceptualizing what he's talking about. Just lost and not found.
Okay.
And so it is. Give us some.
We are going to be
fresh air,
we are
please.
going to be coming to the details and of the eating right now. But let me first test the waters, as they say, in terms of our expectations. You are in that house. You are right inside it as one of the members. Your own expectations. You have heard from Honorable Salam.
Well, first of all, I've been in Parliament, the parliaments of Uganda since 1986, and particularly after the expanded NRC.
As a writer?
In many capacities. A writer and other persons, and now.
It was an operative.
And now.
I want to remember him as a writer because I came to Parliament in March 1999 and I met him there. They were our seniors as reporters. So I want to better remember him for that.
In this show that he was an operative last week. You can speak for yourself.
But you are not my spokesman. I haven't appointed you. Yes, indeed, and that's why I'm saying in many other capacities. So I have a fair understanding of the parliaments since '86. Like Honorable Salama said, it is a privileged position. I think quite often we don't prepare the people who go to occupy. And so they get lost there. They don't quite appreciate their role and the role of the institution in the country. It is my hope that every parliament defines itself, and I want to believe that this one will equally define itself. Now that there's a wide skepticism, I hope that the members of the 12th Parliament will disabuse that skepticism. They'll prove the skeptics wrong by being alert, being conscious, doing things deliberately, differently, for a good purpose. It's a good starting point for us that the public, some people in the public, including seniors like Salam here, think that we may be up to no good. I want to give the 12th Parliament the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Especially because in the immediate past, in the They came when that parliament had been turned upside down for the first time. That parliament is declared a sin of crime. You literally get your leadership installed for you. You didn't have much to put the leadership. The leadership, at least at the top, is new. We want to believe that that leadership is bringing new ways, including helping members find their feet. Yes, it delayed swearing in the speaker. We also delayed going for the induction, initial induction, which we just completed last weekend. We completed forming our committees yesterday. The commission itself, which is the administration of Parliament.
On Tuesday.
The business committee also yesterday by constituting the chairpersons of the other committees. It is only today that the business committee sat. The deputy speaker, who was the presiding officer today, made a brief communication of what we expect to be the business in the coming 3 months, and he said the details will come next week.
Okay.
He also promised that although we missed the traditional opening statement by every member of Parliament, which Honorable Salam alluded to, he said they are going to take advantage of the general debate on the State of the Nation address delivered by the President a while back. And he said, if need be, we shall spend 2 months or even 4 to allow all the 529 members at least 3 minutes. Of course, many of those people have no art or public speaking. They can't summarize.
Hasn't it always been like that anyway?
No,
is
so
there
I'm
anything
saying,
new?
So maybe the 3 minutes won't be like the 10 minutes of 1996 by Honorable Wapakabulo that he gave the 6th Parliament. In any case, there were much fewer. Now we have a whole school, 525. That's a whole primary school.
529.
529, that's a whole school.
Directly elected.
Now, if you put the 23 ex-officio ministers, you can see the number. So, but we hope we shall make do with the 3 minutes so that the Salams, the public, is able to judge. Already we have had minimal debate on the floor, that law which she was referring to, the debate on the approval of the Vice President and the Prime Minister, the debate which took place yesterday, and today we started at 2, we left at 8:30.
Yeah. Good work.
Good work.
Yeah.
For example, today alone...
Because you are paid well, so you need to sit and work.
We are paid sufficiently, probably not well. We are paid sufficiently.
You are paid very well.
Sufficiently. Now, at the end of it, the speaker, the president, said, today alone, the Prime Minister, Robin Nabanja, answered 79 questions in 2.5 hours.
Which is good.
A member would come ask this, meander there, and the Prime Minister, and I gave her my heart. Said, she has the country, don't mind about the correctness, the genuineness of the responses, but that you see somebody who has her hands in every part of the country by responding to questions from different members. And so I want to give these members the benefit of that. It is my hope that the Speaker and the Deputy, the Clerk, the Environment will offer these members the opportunity. Let us give them 2 years and see if they are a wasted group or not. I want to believe.
Myself, we are giving all of you a benefit of doubt. That the members you're referring to includes you.
Yeah, myself, I believe.
Yeah.
I will not be.
Because when you said 529,
yes.
Remember you are also part of that number, the additional number, because the elders, the older person's 5 slots came recently, and you are a beneficiary.
And I'm a beneficiary, and I don't want to think that I'm going to be counted just as a number. I think I'm going to...
You will provide quality. Good. So. Honorable Odonga Otto, your expectations, touching on even some of the You can compare. You were in the 10th parliament?
7th, 8th, 9th,
10th. Yes, 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, I congratulate those who have won the elections, albeit the fact that there are 107 petitions.
Including yours?
Yes, so there is a likelihood some will get out as soon as the judiciary is ready. My good friend Hon Odonga, finally, you found your way in parliament through the window. The Baganda say, "Oingira mukamoli." He found his way.
This man doesn't appreciate the law he made.
I know.
Actually, the law was wrong. An elder should not be someone who can walk on 2 feet like a Hon Odonga. We need someone in fairly old. This one, you should be a constituency MP.
Don't you see? He now doesn't appreciate the definition by law of Uganda of an old person.
And he benefited from, wasn't your constituency one of those later constituencies?
Exactly.
You know? So you also benefited from some of those new creations, just like OO.
No, so the point I'm saying is, of course,
first concede.
No, I'm not conceding. Aru County has been there since Constituent Assembly, Leandro Komakei, Jumonyo Gaba, then to me. It has only been divided lately. But my expectations of this parliament would be very high if they did not have systemic problems. The problem is systemic. The problem is structural, that there is no way they can swim against that problem. First, composition. We have 353 constituencies.
Direct to elected.
353 constituencies. In my opinion, for a country where you can wake up at 6 a.m. and cross from Koboko to Kasese in one day, to have 529 MPs is quite a number. It is over-representation. Even the way the constituencies have been demarcated. I give an example. Eastern Uganda has 101 constituencies. I'm not talking of MPs. Western Uganda has 96 constituencies. But as a rider, they created more districts in Western Uganda. So they have 26 districts. So those are 26 women MPs. So if you add 26 plus 91, you find that Western Uganda alone has 117 members of parliament, which is not proportional. So why I'm saying the problem is systemic, there is over-representation by some parts of the country. Like where my good friend Ofondo comes from, you hear a constituency called West Budama North. West Budama North, West Budama East. First of all, then West Budama is different.
West Budama South.
West Budama South. So they are just putting parishes into constituencies. So the whole philosophy of representation needs to be reviewed. But that aside, interestingly, if someone is a lady who happened to could have joined the UPDF at 23, got injured and retired and got some work of packing pancakes in a factory, that person would have 6 members of parliament representing them. Yet for me, if you are a lady, you got injured, you joined the army, you got injured, and then now you are working in a factory, you will have 7 MPs. Yet every Ugandan has 2 MPs, averagely. You have the constituency MP, like my good friend Mapenduzi, and the woman MP. But this person would have the constituency MP, the woman MP, the workers MP, the youth MP, the UPDF MP, the MP for person with disabilities. So this is again another aspect of overrepresentation, where some people have 7 MPs in that house and some people have 2 MPs.
Is that how it is defined? Isn't that oversimplifying the representation thing?
Yeah, but from a philosophical perspective, the fact remains some people have 7 members of parliament in that house.
Not from the legal perspective.
And others, like my good friend Salam, would have 2 MPs. So that aspect of overrepresentation in relation to some constituencies being created in villages, some people eat rats and they're given counties, you know, the whole composition of parliament should be reviewed, and then the over-representation. But that aside, I expect this parliament again to have another challenge, or what I would call a gagging order. They are not so free like the previous parliaments. We are seeing the multipartism failing, the political space is shrinking. There is a big brother who is overseeing the NRM MPs. That big brother is called PLU. So other than being loyal to a political party called NRM, again, you have to be careful with this big brother who is also watching. So I don't expect a very free and vibrant parliament. And lastly, maybe also, with the NRM now deciding that they want to elect the leader of opposition, I think it is all over. Because at least we can say that the majority cannot always be right, as long as even one dissenting voice should be respected. But we are seeing a situation where majoritarianism or mobocracy is taking the order of the day. So the single voices, the lone voices we would be expecting in the House will be a little stifled. So I'm not so naive to say this parliament will perform very well.
So as OO was giving a benefit of doubt for you, you are holding on to the skepticism that OO feared.
Even in the first week, they're already warning him. He's already crying foul. He's saying they elected NRM, they did not elect PLU. Just the first week, before even having the first mail.
But I thought PLU is not a multi-party organization. It is a pressure group.
But it is already, they now, as of today, they say they have 340 MPs.
That's what they have said.
That is what one of their leaders said, that they have 340. So where you have a parliament, where you have a pressure group that has designated the speaker and has also designated the deputy speaker, they are members of a particular organization. You start wondering, the day parliament wants someone...
Did they designate? I thought the speaker and deputy were elected by the members in Kololo, didn't they? Or didn't you do that?
No, they give them instruments. PLU has given them instruments that they are the envoys in parliament.
They only endorsed. And I can endorse Odonga Otto, Charles Odongtho, from Nebi, but Odonga Otto is standing in Aru. I endorsed his candidature. That doesn't mean I'm electing him, or does it?
No, before when senior members are talking, you have to listen. I was there 20 years. You have not even met 2 weeks. And you used to cover about me, so you listen. You see, during our times in parliament, you would never see Rebecca Kadaga in any partisan function. We even legislated for a meeting between the Chief Justice, the Speaker of Parliament, and the President. We were now providing for that official meeting because we wanted the independence of the institution of Parliament.
Okay.
But today, when you see the Speaker of Parliament saying everyone should join PLU, then you know this is a false start, dead on arrival.
Okay, we will come back to test that, the veracity of that. But Alan, Odonga Otto has raised the ante, so to speak, of the skepticism. You speak for government, but you also observe the political going on.
And I sit on neck of PLU.
Oh, that's a good addition as a pressure group, right? Now, first tell us your own expectations.
First of all, anything I think is better than the last parliament. The last parliament...
As a starting point.
As a starting point, it set a very low bar. You know, my goodness, what was that? And I think, fortunately for the current parliament, they don't bear the burden of the previous parliament. So there's an opportunity for them to start afresh and take things forward. And hopefully, you know, this opportunity is going to be seized and taken. My predecessor at the media center, the Honorable OO, talks about a crime scene. That is what we saw in the last parliament.
And it was the first time.
It was incredible. It was incredible. And we are watching and seeing how things proceed, and hopefully they'll end up, you know, we shall wait and see what the logical conclusion is. But I think it's understood. Again, I don't have the experience of any of the panelists because I've never been to parliament. I've only observed it from
But
afar.
I met you there 2 weeks
Well,
ago.
I was doing my state duty. I was doing my day job, responding to questions at committees and things like that. But you see, you look at what is going on and you're a bit more optimistic because there is an opportunity to be seized. And I think my brother here ought to give PLU some credit where it's due. We have an opportunity. You see, first of all, the Constitution allows for freedom of association. And as a result of that, people in Parliament are allowed to associate themselves as they please. Let's not pick blind spots where it suits us. But also, there is an opportunity for us to influence each other and become better as a country. And that is the opportunity that PLU is presenting. And in Parliament, when you have the leadership of Parliament, and Parliament is where everything happens, it's where budgets are decided, it's where laws are made, you have an opportunity to positively influence this country in a positive direction. And I'm glad that the leadership of Parliament has seized the opportunity to participate and to influence others. As the Honourable Speaker has said, everybody should indeed join PLU. But I think the bigger point for me is this. We have an opportunity to redirect and to re-establish the credibility of Parliament so that people cease to see it as a den of thieves who are philandering, living off Uganda, serving themselves and not serving Ugandans. And that opportunity is being seized, and hopefully we shall have a better report at the end of this Parliament.
Good. Honorable Mapenduzi, you were in the last Parliament, the 11th, now you are in the 12th. And not only in the 12th, you have just been elected as a chairperson of a very important committee on foreign affairs, right?
No.
Yeah.
Presidential affairs.
Presidential affairs, sorry. I'm still learning also as
It's
they...
the same, presidential foreign affairs.
No,
they have now separated them.
Yeah.
They have,
Okay.
it has been, they have now separated them.
It's a disaster.
Why a disaster?
Well, you see, I was a chair of presidential foreign affairs.
I remember appearing.
I was a member for 10 years. Presidential
and
foreign
so
affairs.
I understand the content, the structure.
There is more work to be done.
Since when? Did we grow bigger?
The house is bigger. The house is bigger.
So
the house is bigger. I assume.
You're distorting
okay,
and disorienting
let me do this.
a parliament of Uganda to accommodate numbers.
Let me first. This is a maiden speech for the panel.
How many members were you in your parliament?
Were they not about 370?
No, I remember something like 240.
240?
No, more than that.
More than that.
NRC
You were
itself,
more than
for example, just the counties were 173. That's CA. CA.
And I think
the counties were 214, 214.
Yes, yes.
And then there were the districts.
Then
the districts were 36?
No, about 46.
46.
Okay.
About 46. But let's do this. This is also a maiden speech time. So let's first give it to Mapenduzi so that he makes his...
They are all senior to me, and so I...
You decided to give them the opportunity.
So when they talk, I give them that respect.
First give your maiden talk on your expectations of this parliament that you are now in. You had a meeting, an important meeting, business committee, determining how you're going to move. Tell us a little more.
Well, first I'll start with my experience of the 11th Parliament. It's actually interesting hearing from Honorable Odonga Otto and Honorable Salamu, because they were there before. I think the 11th Parliament started on, I do not want to say on a bad note, but there were things that happened at the start.
An unfortunate note,
exactly.
Especially the loss of the Speaker.
There were a number of things that happened at the start, and that did not give a good start for the Parliament. Just like the Honorable Salam was saying, that the 12th Parliament, they seem not to be very organized and all that. On the contrary, I think the 12th Parliament, from my own experience, is a lot more organized, and even the start is far better than what we had. I can tell you the time we started, the 11th Parliament, that was COVID period. And there were a lot of restrictions. And you can imagine even, during plenary, there was a time when members were given to go, in shifts. Some people go at a certain time because we needed to be few to keep, social distance and all that. And then later on, the unfortunate demise of our brother, the Right Honorable Jacob Olanya. That disorganizes. So, of course, there are also a number of good things that the 11th Parliament did. But in terms of the start, I think the 12th Parliament has started well. Members of the 12th Parliament at a political party level, I do not know from the other political parties, but the Honorable OO will attest to that. We had time to, our party organize, more than a week-long period of, orientation.
Yeah.
And then Parliament also, when it organized, actually Parliament has organized twice. We had the orientation, and later on we had another process where he was one of the resource persons and all that. So I think the leadership of the 12th Parliament is trying everything possible to lay a good foundation for the members so that they can do better, much better than the 11th Parliament. Of course, the image of the 11th Parliament, the citizens lost confidence in the institution of Parliament. And so one of the things that the leadership is doing right now is to rebuild that image, building systems internally, but also setting very clear goals for the 12th Parliament, and not just talking. You see a lot of that in action. Today we had our first business committee meeting, and this brings all the chairpersons of the committees and the top leadership. And you see from the discussion, you see the about 27, both standing committees and exactly. So all the chairpersons and the top leadership. And you see from the direction being given and the agenda being set. So there is a lot of hope. And I want to believe that the 12th Parliament is going to do much better, but also rebuilding that confidence and steering Parliament in the right direction. The speakers has constantly made certain things are very clear. One, that you would want to see a Parliament that does a lot more oversight, that holds the executive more accountable, and he has demonstrated that by even cutting his own budget and saying we need to empower the committees the more so they are able to do a lot more in terms of oversight and their own functions. And so there are a lot of internal reorganization that is going on, and that gives a lot of hope. So for my senior brother, the Honorable Dr. Odonga Otto, I think it's good to be positive. Give it time, but you also have a duty to continuously guide us. You are very experienced. You have been in Parliament for 20 years, so you have a duty.
We worked with him for long,
Exactly.
We were in FDC. We were planning how to overthrow this government. People can change life. And you never told me goodbye when you were leaving.
Well, that we can discuss. That we can discuss later.
First of all, did he tell UPC goodbye?
No, I fled FDC because I knew the house was going to fall, but I did not want it to fall on me.
If I may ask, did you have time to have a discussion with Honorable Salam to find out when she would leave and all that, because she's now in another political party? But
don't allow these two young men to...
No. Please, if you'll allow me to just finish.
You know what I was about to say.
It's okay. And I respect
and the NRM is not to blame for all this.
There is some kind of impression being created, and I would like to, just like the Honorable, Alan put it,
Can I just do this? Can I interrupt you a little? Let's go for a break right now.
Oh, thank you.
And when we come back, the time for the maiden presentations are over. I'll start right from the impression being created, and then we come round. But let's go for a break.
NBS Frontline.
Gentlemen and lady, we are right back on air. This is the Frontline on NBS, and NBS is celebrating 18 years of great service to this country and indeed to the world, and this show is part of that. And I'm here, I've seen messages saying Charles Odonga is back with OO. Yes, except that the OO is now the one who is in a, British suit, fitting, and he looks different.
No, I'm also going for because of the 18
Parliament
years.
pays well, not because of the years only.
Just remember, I was a government spokesperson, so I was paid.
Which you left for Alan. But before we went for the break, I'd interrupted. Ladies and gentlemen, now that we are in the part where feel free to chip in, and respectfully, of course, if you think that you want to chip in some thoughts to a member who is holding the floor, feel free. Let's have an engaging discussion. But before we went for the break, Honorable Mapenduzi had said there is an impression being created. First,
just two things.
Yeah.
Before I talk about the impression, I think for those who would have doubts and begin to think the 12th Parliament is likely to just be the same, I think when you meet the new leader of Parliament, the Speaker, the Right Honourable OO, there are many OOs here now. When you interact with him and you see and you feel that someone who has come with a completely different mindset and determined to change the story. And for me, it's good he has probably learned a lot from the experiences we have had. And I also want to believe that he's very mindful of the kind of sentiment, what Ugandans think about Parliament. I think that is very good for him, because then that should guide him and his deputy in trying to shape the kind of direction the 12th Parliament will take. But the impression I was talking about is, stems from what the Honorable Dr. Odonga Otto tried to insinuate, and I'm happy he touched on as a member of the top organ of PLU. I would love to find time, and unfortunately I coordinate the PLU in Acholi sub-region. So the Honorable Odonga, being someone from Acholi sub-region, I would really love to find time with you. Sit and take you through what PLU stands for, and you will definitely appreciate, because you see, first, it's not a political party. It is an organization legally registered that aspires to have a country where people are, accountable, especially those in positions of responsibility, but also promoting patriotism. We need to love our country. We need to serve our people and make Ugandans get, the best out of, And so when you see PLU putting, mounting pressure, it's not about putting somebody or dictating. PLU has a duty to mount pressure on everyone holding positions of responsibility, so that wherever you sit, you are doing that on behalf of Ugandans, and you have a duty to be accountable to them. And so I do not want us to mistake the Speaker of Parliament for associating. I think it's good that he associates with the PLU.
It's a referee. The Speaker of Parliament should be neutral. The Speaker of Parliament is an umpire in a game. Is an umpire in a game where there is opposition and then there is the ruling party. Now, if the Speaker of Parliament turns out to be the chief mobilizer of one of the sides, like we have the World Cup in the next few minutes, Morocco is playing France. So if the referee now is even putting on a France jersey and advising the Moroccans that why don't you join us? And do we really have a game?
I think you are just to respond to this very briefly, and I'll allow you to. I think what you are saying amounts to saying that the Speaker of Parliament should not have a belief in anything. First, he needs to. He believes in what PLU stands for. He associates with the organization, and I think it's not wrong to associate. And so when you begin to say that the Speaker of Parliament shouldn't associate with any group because I don't think that is right. First, he's a human being.
He's also drawn from a political
Exactly. Party. He's a human being who has full right to. So that should not.
So you see nothing wrong with the Speaker of Parliament saying all Ugandans should join PLU. You see absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Is it wrong for me to say why don't we join Rotary Club or something else? It's not
for
wrong.
Me, my interest is in the public out there getting the correct context also and the correct story. Has he ever done that?
Yes.
Where did he do it?
He went to the PLU secretariat that day when they called the ministers from State House. There were like 7 ministers, and he's on record saying he's a member of PLU and all Ugandans. He urges all Ugandans to join PLU.
Can I give a clarification?
Yes.
What he said was that this organization is fighting corruption and is interested in promoting patriotism, and that if these are the values that it espouses, then all Ugandans should join it. Is that saying that come and join?
Yes.
English-wise?
Yes.
Okay, fine, if you understood
And
it that way. If you understood it that way, fine, Honorable Salam. But that is what was.
Why are you paraphrasing? Why are you
But
paraphrasing?
let me. Wanted to interject.
But so what?
First wait.
What about the basement? If fighting corruption, everyone should join. What about taking people to the basement?
But so what if you say
PLU is
come and
not
join?
for. What about that?
Okay.
But so what if you say that?
Let Alan and Odonga. Let's first listen to
If we go this way with the Odonga,
then I will come to Odonga
with
and
Odonga,
Salam.
we may not have a good discussion. We shall descend into shouting much. But from a historical point of view, let's just go back to 86, 89. In that NRC, which is like this parliament now, we had hardcore people who had come from the bush with guns.
Yes.
And you remember, some people said they were up to no good. Didn't they deliver the first 10 years and delivered a new constitution, which was a new democratic dispensation?
True.
Don't mind the vulgarization that has taken place since then. They delivered. In that NRC, we had those historical members who were paying allegiance to being historical members. Then in that area, in that place, we had the UPM, the Bilandisaris, the Wapakabulus, and others. Then we had the remnants of UPC people. You remember, Oboto was in exile? Everybody. And Oboto was calling shots from Zambia.
Yeah.
But the elements of UPC who were in NRC and eventually CA, the Cicero Guans, did, in spite of getting instructions from Obote in Lusaka, they still made good contribution in the CA, 6th Parliament, and actually barred the multi-party dispensation. So there's no problem, as far as I'm concerned, if somebody is a PLU member, pays allegiance to elsewhere, but he knows the core issues of the times. The Cicero guys did deliver the multi-party dispensation. In fact, much of the concession the NRM Bush guys made in the CA was because of the tiny group of the multi-parties, particularly UPC and DP, that they made under what they called National Caucus for Democracy. In the parliament that Honorable Salam Musumba entered first, 6th Parliament, you remember, they even had something called the YPA.
The Young Parliamentary Association. Yes.
Some of them were the movement guys.
Yeah.
Others were actually the multi-parties. But because the youngness in them, many of them were young in age, but also first-timers in a national platform. And that parliament
and many of the members later became PAFO members.
And some of their members were paying allegiance to certain issues, to YPA or PAFO. Again, that is the parliament everybody now says. Why? Because they were able to hold the executive to account. That's the only parliament that censured 2 ministers, forced either two, I think, to run away from the censure and resigned on their own. Honorable Matthew
the late Honorable
Kivejinja, Matthew Richard, and others.
Yeah.
So I think the issue should be, or both, Tayebwa, and the other MPs who have been designated, given numbers of PLU. Are they going to retain their heads to know what are the core issues of the country of the day and in Parliament and shape it?
To which they...
Yes. And for me, I want to believe. I am close to quite many of them, including the Speaker. I think I speak to the Speaker almost every other day. I speak to the Deputy Speaker every other day. I speak to all these Ojaras. I'm not a member of PLU, at least not as yet. But...
Not as yet.
At least...
These gentlemen might recruit you on this show.
No. You can, who said you can never say never? Otherwise, Odonga Otto wouldn't have left FDC, wouldn't have... Salam wouldn't have left FDC and UNPF. So, I think the most important issue, will Ugandans hold, or both, that Tayebwa
accountable
to the issues they swore on the floor of Parliament.
As Speaker and Deputy Speaker.
To defend, protect, and promote.
Exactly.
I want to believe the way I know them now and I'm close to them, I think they will.
You are convinced that they will.
We need to give them the... In any case, if somebody if you are serious enough, you should be able to know, to appreciate. I wrote an article 2 weeks ago. You should be able to appreciate that there's a sense in which the NRM has surged or warped, whichever word. Is it kind of lost momentum? You cannot use that word in certain areas. And therefore, if PLU
gotten disoriented,
if PLU has some influence in what is going on in the country, what's wrong with me, a clever speaker or member of parliament, or even
aligning with it,
tapping into it?
Okay.
Tapping into it.
Okay. Let's listen to Honorable Salam now.
It could actually be for purposes of helping PLU to stay on a straight line. You need to have influence there. You need to. Otherwise, how did the NRM handle FDC? If NRM did not, elements of NRM not go into FDC, not go into this one, not go into that one. How?
You like poking, sir, Honorable Salam.
You ask Salam if NRM has not been dealing with some elements in FDC. Ask her.
Honorable Salam. You want to start from that point or the point that you wanted to make earlier?
I'll tell you something.
Let's go ahead.
The way the discussion is going, I don't think we'll make sense of it. We can have that discussion.
Redirect it.
Because the evidence is all over.
Okay.
Okay. So, what we are dealing with really, I had hoped and prayed that this new effort at multi-party dispensation, guys like these ones on this panel would anchor it as a pillar of democracy and nourish it in the polities where they've been. Okay? I have no clue what PLU is.
A pressure group. They say a pressure group.
You can call it a pressure group, but I see it as the youth wing
of NRM.
Of NRM, like the youth wing of UPC was.
Which OO was a member of.
Yes. And so I see it as a distortion of multipartyism.
Can you say we use UPC elements have changed the direction of the Bush people?
And you have infected them so well that they have no clue of their ideological orientation. No clue. Because I was a member of the movement. And
were
I
you
was
in the
schooled.
youth wing of the movement?
No, I was nothing. I was just a
You
member
were
of
just a
parliament.
cadre.
I was a member of parliament that subscribed and believed in the ideology of the movement as it was.
And
individual merit. And individual merit found me meritus. Okay? And that's why I was elected member of parliament for Gabla County South. So, as an individual, I was meriting the worthiness of my people to be their voice. And I've not let them down. What I see here is an infection, a political infection, organizationally into multipartism. Because where do you draw your mandate from in the multi-party set of things? Be honest, guys. Freedom of association,
from
that's
the Constitution.
Right. That is very right.
It allows people to interact.
Please do, but do not have an overreach. Do not distort. Do not distort. Please do not distort, because you will be guilty of failing democracy, as we have agreed in the Constitution.
Again, with respect,
yeah?
you're making the dangerous assumption that we all understand what democracy is, that we all know what it is.
How come you don't know?
No, but what is democracy? Even countries that have postulated the idea themselves are struggling with its definition.
Well,
I think as a country,
yes?
Uganda, which is only just trying to find itself, which is in the course of state formation at its infancy. No, but let's be honest. We are trying to find ourselves. And whatever we do in that process of trying to find ourselves should not be dismissed. In this particular case,
I'm describing what I see. I am describing what I see, because I do understand the constitutional provisions, and I do understand the administrative and the structural formations that are going around. As I see it now.
Okay, as you go on that,
yeah?
I want to give you to let you flow. But do you concede to the fact that, as Alan is insisting, that the Constitution, which is the grand norm, allows for freedom to associate freely?
That allowed her to be in FDC, that allowed her to leave the movement system, that allowed her to go to PFF. That same Constitution that we have chosen, that we live by, is the same Constitution that is allowing people to associate with PLU, because...
Just for information, we went through a referendum and we agreed that we return to multipartism.
We did.
It's a referendum that all Ugandans voted. And in that house, those who sit to the left of the speaker are members of the opposition.
Yes.
Those who sit to the right
and even people like
are
me
members of the ruling party.
And those...
So the Speaker of Parliament should be...
Just to update you,
you know,
just to update in this Parliament so far, the Speaker has guided and ruled that there is free sitting. So
because of sitting arrangements, some of you have
you see, that is the disorientation you're doing.
Don't make people who are watching on TV in Parliament think that the people who are sitting, all who are sitting on this different...
No,
the point
you have actually destroyed
we now have free sitting except the
democracy.
Front, the first front benches only.
You have distorted...
I personally will accept the multi-party dispensation now, because it is the law in Uganda, and like the Honorable O here says, it is what the referendum said.
Yes.
But do I believe in multi-party democracy?
You may not.
Absolutely not.
But you can belong.
I believe in the movement.
You can
I accept that right now...
You say the Constitution says...
So let's...
While one system is in place, the other goes to sleep.
Yes.
So you will be found wanting. If this is
I
what
don't think
you want
anybody
to
has
create.
destroyed the multi-party system.
No, you
but
are
it's also
infecting.
okay for the multi-party system to undergo a stress test. It is fine to be tested and to find out whether or not it's fit for purpose. So
let her finish her point.
So what we see here, and I see the recruitment of very many English narratives of what is obtaining. What I see is that, as he was describing that NRM has surged, is that NRM has been hijacked.
NRM has been hijacked?
Yes.
By
PLU. And it is seeking to subvert it as a political entity.
That's interpretive.
And does that affect, in your view, or do you fear that could weaken Parliament? Do you think that will?
It does.
Like OO has said, OO says he is hopeful and optimistic that they will.
If PLU wants to transform the NRM, they are well suited to do so. Inside, reform it inside there.
Yes, not in
but that,
do not.
Who said reform should only be from inside? It can be from outside as well. Until
the real action is in parliament. The real political work is in parliament.
Where is the convergence? At the point of convergence, which group has a higher balance? If NRM goes asleep and becomes stupid, certainly they cannot blame any other force for outbalancing
for pushing them to improve.
I'll tell you this.
And in that article I wrote, I said, for example,
you as a UPC man,
let him first.
You know what happened to UPC.
Just for example, you know very well that when NRM came and was consolidating, there were people who had been in UPM who tried to do the kicking, and because NRM was now the stronger, it subsumed UPM. I remember in 2003, Honorable Bidansari, and I think to a lesser extent, Honorable Chikeiri, remained like the lone voice who were making a case for UPM. So, if NRM becomes weakened, they cannot plead when the PLU principles and actual organizational capacity takes them over.
Okay.
Just like there are elements of UPC who came into NRM, some with an infertile hope that they can influence NRM, then they got consumed. Some of the people from FDC also came. They thought they can consume or can even change the direction of. You have heard the Honorable Robert Mao, for example, believing that by joining the NRM government, he can have a leeway to change the direction of NRM. Now, it should be, NRM cannot blame anybody if it gets swallowed up.
Okay.
And my view is, for now, we shall be alert as NRM people so that we are not swallowed up.
Okay.
Well, the people that got elected were NRMs. They were not PLUs. At least on paper.
And I don't think they have said they are PLU.
They were not.
You
were elected as NRM.
But you don't mind to freely associate.
NRM PLU is not a political party.
Yeah. That's what this is. No. I'm not even mistaking it.
No.
I am understanding you so well, and I understand your plot very well.
But let me guide this. Let me guide you this way.
Charles, can I put it this
Lady
way?
and gentlemen, this is what I...
Can I just say this?
Whatever you're saying, direct it towards the performance of Parliament and how you see it, its future. That whether it is PLU that you're complaining about, or NRM, or UPC, or People's Forum for Freedom, whatever it is, FDC, let me know, for the sake of the public out there, does that fear cause any skepticism towards the performance and potential of the current 12th Parliament? That's for me what I want to come out. Odonga Otto.
You see, there are two factors that we should not be bullied to accept, especially by Pondo, to my immediate left, by Alan, massive Alan, to my immediate right. There are two things. One, Ugandans went for two referendums. The first one, they refused that they don't want multipartism in 2001. That the other side was led by Ambassador Ochegere then. I remember I was arrested.
It is 2000.
2000. I was arrested at the university. And how can someone who is angry again be throwing tomatoes at someone?
Some of your members were throwing tomatoes and rotten
But
eggs.
we were looking for food. So how do you again start throwing tomatoes at the president when we were starving university students? It defies logic.
I went for that rally, and some of your members, it might not have been Odonga Otto, but some of your members threw things at the president's convoy.
No, but the point I was saying, in 2006, again, we came for a referendum. This time the president...
2005.
2005. This time the president was campaigning that we need to go back
to multipartism. And we went for multipartism.
That is
Alan.
21 years ago.
No, 2005. Maybe you are in...
No, 21 years ago.
Okay, all right. That's a fact. So, Uganda has decided. Now, if we are seeing that this multipartism does not work, then we may have to petition the Electoral Commission. And we go back to a referendum and probably get back to the movement system.
Can I just say?
But the second thing, still on PLU, because we now have a scarecrow on top of Parliament. Even some of these members here, like Hon Odonga and Mapenduzi, if you talk anyhow, you know what PLU can do on you. Even after this show. Just at the gate here. So there is a big brother.
What can they do?
Well, that's what I think. There is a monster. You know, I'm not speaking for anyone. You see, when young children refuse to drink milk, you find an ugly-looking relative who would shout, "Arr!" Then they will immediately pick the glass of milk and drink. It's for the good of the child. Because Hon Odonga was last week saying they voted for NRM, not PLU.
Yeah.
Today, there is a change.
He's a politician. But he has just said it again.
But just to appreciate what Alan states, freedom of association is allowed. I'm free to join any organization. But our constitution, I think under Article 211, says, unless you're going to amend the constitution, says the UPDF shall be a professional non-partisan entity. Now, the leader of PLU is a serving soldier.
He's also a special presidential advisor.
Yeah, he's also a special presidential advisor.
Yeah.
So we may have to do a constitutional amendment and get to a system. We are not disagreeing. Alan, just let me build this point. We are not disagreeing with PLU. I have personally praised Jerome Wozi for the roads in Kampala City.
You have?
Yeah.
I have done it on this show. I'm very excited.
Right.
Even I just crossed from Bukoto. Yeah, that road has been tarmac.
Yeah.
We have been moving in it for 15 years.
Potholes. On account of what?
I don't know. But that is a good thing.
On account of
corruption,
what?
Most of the thieves are now scared of PLU.
Absolutely.
We know
On
where the
account
credit
of what?
is. But we are saying, you may need a constitutional amendment to allow soldiers involve themselves in partisan issues.
Can I just pick up what you said here?
The one that talks about, the article that talks about the UPDF, of course, is from 208 to 210. 211 is Uganda Police Force. Just a clarification.
Thank you.
Just to make this point,
yes,
21 years ago in a country like Uganda, with a very young population, is extremely, it's not a very good place to base your argument, I would say. The reason being that right now you have a critical mass of young people who feel left out because they are seeing politicians accumulating wealth primitively. They are seeing people blatantly showcasing wealth without explaining where they got their wealth.
As if there is no government.
They have been taken, they feel like they have no stake in this country.
As if there is no government.
And the reason for that, so when you see PLU coming in, and you see people, you see the interventions we've seen recently, they are in response to calls by many young people who are basically saying, we need to change. And there is no better place
to improve,
change.
Actually.
There's no better place to improve or to change than Parliament, where the business of government actually happens.
Good.
This is where legislation happens. This is where budgets are allocated. This is where big, important decisions are taken. This is where the Constitution is amended. The Parliament can get rid of the President. So you have a very important arm of government that has also suffered a credibility deficit and requires major surgery. How do you do that? You infuse people who are responsive to the cries of the public, who are saying that we need to see change. And it is from there
they just
that the
voted
PLU
no
is
change.
spawned. So in my
just
view,
voted no change.
in my view, it is a response to the failures of
NRM.
Systemic
of 40
failures.
years.
That's political.
That's a different.
That's political. Those are political
40
statements.
years.
Let's remain factual.
I need to first bring in Mapenduzi at this point.
Let's remain factual. The fact of the matter
The fact is 40 years.
there is a need for
an
change.
indictment
And that
on the
change,
40 years record.
Nobody prescribes where that change will come from. At the moment, it is being advanced by PLU.
Okay. Honorable Mapenduzi, you were itching. I saw you itching to cut in. and I wanted to bring you in at that point. But I want us to go back to the...
You see where I come from, in our village, you don't interrupt elders when they talk. But I get tempted a lot to... But let me say this, just as you guided on this discussion. I think the bottom line is, if we are talking about the 12th Parliament, number one, we shouldn't have any bias mind on whether, the leadership of Parliament, and here I mean the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, they belong to PLU, they associate, with PLU, and then you begin to imagine that probably they are not going to. The question is, do they know their job? Are they going to execute the way it's expected? And I think it's not right to make judgment now, because I think someone like the Right Honorable Both is not just coming, is not just jumping from somewhere into leadership. He has built his own track record. We know him, all right? He's a lawyer. He has served in different capacities. He has demonstrated some level of, and so the expectation is that the 12th Parliament would ride on some of those experiences, but also learning from where the 11th Parliament has been. So we should all hope for the best. But the other thing that, and I'm not going to, again, I will respect what the Honorable Salamu and Honorable Odonga Otto are saying, because there is what you think, and there is what you hear, and it's not wrong to say, to express what you think. But to some of us who are part of that Parliament, we, just like the other OO put it, this evening, Parliament ended at around 8:30.
Yeah.
And for the first time, the Prime Minister answered 79 questions. And you would see, and not just only the Prime Minister, even the ministers, you would see their level of, responsiveness, and you see how the ministers are in the field, how they are taking actions. And so there is a completely new chapter that has been opened. And we need to build on that. Okay. And so it's important that we need to encourage, but also caution whoever is in those positions that, look, this is how Ugandans have been frustrated, and this is what they expect, and so we need to keep on that and build better.
But just one point. There is what we call conflict of interest, which is provided for in our rules of procedure in Parliament. That members of Parliament should not conduct themselves in such a manner with external institutions that bring conflict of interest. I wanted us to address our mind on the Speaker's role with PLU vis-a-vis that rule of procedure, because
does the rule, Odonga Otto, you are a lawyer.
Yeah.
Does the rule override the constitutional provision that we agreed to of freedom of expression and association?
Charles, let me answer this, because I don't think that question will help. Honorable Odonga Otto has his own way of understanding what PLU is, and you are not going to change that. You will explain today, next weekend. I think we need to sit with him.
Honorable Martin.
Again, I'll repeat.
He will not change. Just 1 minute. Wait a minute. First give me the floor.
I have been interrupted a lot.
Honorable, first give me the floor as the moderator. Okay. I will give you all the time. Honorable Odonga Otto may not change his perception of PLU or NRM or any organization. But for the sake of this show, he deserves at least to make people know better, legally or politically or otherwise, that this is what my line of thinking is, isn't it?
You see, there are people who will refuse to understand, even when they... No, and let me put it like this. We have been clear that PLU is not a political party. We have also been clear that the Right Honorable Oboth has a right to belong to any association, any pressure group. Even a golf group. That does not interfere with his work as Speaker of Parliament.
Okay.
So I don't see that component of conflict of interest, where it's coming from. I don't see it.
Okay.
Right?
Otherwise, you'd have to pull out of charities, golf clubs, and other associations.
So supposing next time Parliament wants to summon PLU, and then Oboth as what? For whatever reasons.
To summon them in
what capacity?
For whatever reasons.
Honorable Odonga Otto has cited here that the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga excused herself from directly participating, particularly in the meetings of the Central Executive Committee of the NRM while she was Speaker. That was not the point of law. She did an administrative out of her own. And remember,
out of Commonwealth tradition.
Yes, but remember,
thank you.
But remember, she attended all.
Yes.
There were those meetings that were important.
National Executive Committee. She attended and participated in all.
She was even a member of SEC, wasn't she?
Yes.
As the second.
She was receiving all the minutes. When SEC decides, for example, we are going for elections, she would campaign for NRM. She would campaign her heart out for NRM.
Okay, good clarification.
She would participate in the National Delegates Conference of NRM. So that was not a point of law.
So okay, let's go for a break.
Obot and Tayebwa can similarly, if they choose to do so on their own and say no, UPLU, and that one, I think we should leave it to them.
Okay.
To go back
let's
to
go for a break, gentlemen and lady.
Because of ABCD.
When we come back, Honorable Odonga Otto and the gentleman and lady here, we will then touch on
It was not a gentleman.
the gentleman and lady. I said the gentleman and lady here. But let's go for a break and then we come back and we will move on with the discussion. Thank you very much.
NBS Frontline.